Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And I got to tell you guys, when I cover Sheriff Grady Judd from Polk County, despite the subject matter being extremely dark and something that is abhorrent, appalling, and really on an epidemic level in this country as well as globally, I can't help but smile a little bit. Why? Because Grady Judd is taking on child predators at a level most refuse to do, and at the same time calling out other law enforcement officials and other communities for not doing their part to go after these monsters, and calling out the fact that it is largely political because these victims have no voices. Okay? So, Grady Judd here, all right, he is the driving force behind Operation Guardians of Innocence 5. Now, if you watched me before, I've actually played a couple of things. It seems like every, like 3 to 6 months, I see this guy, and he continues to do amazing work. Now, the headline here is almost, I want to say a little bit misleading. I get it. You want to get that Disney headline, right? And it turns out that two separate people from Disney who were roommates were also partaking in CP. Okay, and they acted as though they didn't know that each other were doing that. I don't know if that's a reality. It might be. I don't know. But we're going to let Grady Judd tell you the whole thing. We're going to watch his press conference because there's so much more to it than the headlines, the statistics he puts out, and the fact that we're not just talking about, Disney workers. We're talking about professionals that work at places like Lockheed Martin. Oh, you mean the military industrial complex company? And in many cases, these people, they're at top levels in society. They have a wife. They have kids. One of the cases we're going to discuss and watch, you have somebody who has been in this country illegally for 30 years, has 7 children, okay? And he was caught with images and video apparently of children as young as 18 to 36 months. Okay? So the severity of the crimes, the fact that other law enforcement isn't taking this issue, I am applauding Grady Judd. And in a moment, we're going to go over his press conference. Now, again, I'm going to warn you, the subject matter is very harsh. I'm also going to tell you this, that Grady likes to, cut a joke or two. And he likes to do it to really show you how disturbed and disgusting these individuals are and how they are a danger to society. He explains himself later. Now, before we get there, I do want to remind everybody to please thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. We are fully demonetized on this platform. So $5, $10, $15 means the world to me. Go hit the GoFundMe. We're deciding whether we're going to hit the Chaz before we hit the road to see, what parts of America are open. I watched Cuomo's press conference again today, and the guy is chameleon-like, and he is setting up this city, not only the city, but the state of New York for complete failure, and really it to be reimagined by unaccountable billionaires. So let's get to it. Let's see what Mr. Grady Judd has to say, guys.
Of our poster child, that's the last one I'm going to talk about, because sometimes I'm afraid we become kind of desensitized when I stand up here and say, well, they're in possession of child porn, because for more than obvious reasons, we can never ever disclose the child porn. So I don't think you really grasp how deviant these folks are by just looking at their pictures.
And by the way, he's correct in that. And I also want to point out the fact that later on, someone asked him, isn't most of this stuff that they're sharing, isn't it from overseas? And he's like, no, it is not.
But here's what I know, that we've added 1,409 new felony charges. That's right, 1,409, which means ultimately that we know that these photographs have been shared thousands of times in order to file this many charges. Most of these people have very little criminal history.
Oh.
They're ghosts to the criminal justice system. They're ghosts to law enforcement agencies. Why I applaud my detectives so much is that many police agencies across this country, and they should be ashamed of themselves, don't investigate this because it doesn't make any outside noise. The babies who are victims can't vote, they can't dial 911, and they're ignored.
Let me just explain something to you right now. This is what a true elected official of the people looks like. This is why localized government and localized law enforcement is so damn important. I'm telling you right now, I've seen enough of this guy now over the past year and a half, 2 years plus, okay, that this is the real deal. This is somebody you do want to elevate.
So these folks fly under the radar screen because many agencies won't dig down and find these ghost criminals who are committing these horrific crimes against babies. That doesn't happen here. We know, according to the Butner study, that 85% of child pornographers either have had sex with children or given the opportunity would have sex.
See that? And I mean, that's a stark number, because so many of these people that are partaking in the images and abuse videos of these kids, and sometimes, yes, very much so babies, okay, never get caught up in a sting like this.
In that particular study of the sexual deviants that were in jail for child pornography, 85% of them admitted that, yes, they had not just possessed the child pornography, but they'd had sex with children. So when you look at these folks, you see a scraggly bunch of folks. When I look at them, I see deviants. I see dangerous people. I see folks that are focused on child pornography and would attack your child if they got a chance. But let's take a snapshot, because you'll see they're not all people that have no reputation. In fact, our first one, John Aziz, is 35. He's a pharmacist contracted to the Heart of Florida Hospital. That's right, a pharmacist working at the hospital every day. Our detectives charged him with 72 counts of child porn with children as young as 18 months old that were being sexually battered.
I want that to sink in. You know, I've seen apologists online and in social media feeds. I've seen the attempt of, you know, I don't want to call it the liberal media, but I would say the establishment media, to promote the idea that these are now minor attracted persons, MAPS, and they should be in the LGBTQ LMNOPO family. That, oh, you know, they're just attracted to children. No.
Plus, when we went to his house, guess what? We found Xanax, oxycodone, Oxycontin, without prescriptions. So that's right. He's apparently skimming drugs from where he works. We looked and saw what he was searching for, and it was 300 total child porn that he had advertised for. We charged him with 72 counts. That's enough to send him to prison for a long time.
Let's hope so.
A pharmacist contracted to the Heart of Florida Hospital. Then you've got Arlendris Sims. And here's his roommate, Justin Hazan. Both of them are employed by Disney. And when we went to the house, we went after Arlandra Sims. And during the investigation where we charged him with 25 counts of child porn, we also found out that his roommate from Disney, Justin Hazan, also was looking at child porn. They didn't know that.
And again,
so during the investigation, our detectives found it kind of humorous. Arlandra actually said, "You're doing it too?" I mean, they had a conversation. "You're doing it too?" Huh, guys? It really is a small world after all.
and those are those jokes he likes to crack.
Can you believe that? Then there's Stephen Lilly. He's 61, a TICO employee for 35 years. He's retired now. He retired during this event. He's married. He was viewing and downloading child porn, he said, for 2 years. I don't know that I believe that. How do you wake up at 59 years old with adult children and a wife and go, gosh, I think I'll go to the room and start looking at child porn? Especially when you're charged with 100 counts of child porn. He admitted to us that he had viewed it at work computers, and at home. And he viewed this child porn of children as young as 1 year old. And then there's Edgardo Cancilia. He's 38. He's a registered nurse in the intensive care unit of Osceola Regional Medical Center. He's got 2 children. He's married. His children are like 10 and 13. And he's looking at child porn. He's charged with 5 counts with intent to promote and 5 counts of promoting on Facebook child porn.
So let's talk about that for a second. Here you got a guy with 2 small children and a wife. And one of the things that we're not really talking about much in the child porn field is all of the video chatting and the soliciting of actual children that these people never really get their hands on. You know, this isn't in some dark room somewhere where there's, don't get me wrong, he talks about later social media, phones, that access, where this is being produced. There are people procuring kids via Facebook, Snapchat, Skype, any of the platforms that you can imagine, and trying to have them perform this as they record the screen.
He's a professional, a registered nurse, dealing with very sick patients in ICU, married with children. But you know what? He's a deviant, and he's dangerous. And then there's Monty Conningham. Monty Conningham. He's 64 and he's retired. He was searching for naked little boys as young as 2 to 3 years old. We charged him with 20 counts of child porn.
These are monsters.
And then there's 45-year-old neighbor of Molina. He was seeking out child porn pictures of children as young as 18 to 36 months. We've charged him with 125 different counts. He's married and he has 7 children. Oh, and he's not in the country legal. He's been here illegal 30 years. ICE has a hold on him. ICE is going to have to wait because he's going to prison for a while first for his child porn. Then ICE can deport him. Jonathan Richards.
Here's the number one stunner
here. 300 counts of child porn, children as young as 1 year old. He's charged with the most counts of anyone on the board here today. He's 27. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but I've got one more before we get to the poster child. Scott Bradley. Scott is 49 years of age. Scott moved here from Concord, California in September of 19, less than a year ago. Well, Scott, I got a news flash for you and your wife. This ain't California. We don't see things the way they do.
I'm just going to stop it here. And I got to tell you, I do like the swipe he's taken at California. If you look at the systemic amount of child abuse that goes on in the entertainment industry especially, and the blind eye that is turned there and in other places in that state, hey, again, you go, Grady. You go, my man, Grady Judd.
In fact, most of the world doesn't see things the way they do. Scott weighs in at a hefty 460 pounds. It took a truck to get him to jail. He's a big old boy. He's charged with 20 counts of child porn. Currently, he and his wife own a bookkeeping and tax business, as well as a travel agency called Wish You Were Here Vacations. I wonder if Scott, actually advertised online. I had a Wish You Were Here vacation. It was at the county jail. Well, he got him a chance to have a vacation at the county jail. He can advertise that. And if Scott will grab us up some more child pornographers and deviants violating the law through his firm, through his vacation agency, travel agency, we'll be glad to lock them up in jail too. Okay.
I want to stop it. So now he's going to go over this person, I believe, from January. And again, you're going to see another professional, another family man, and now somebody who works for that military industrial complex that I talk about, Lockheed Martin.
Here's the fellow we arrested in January. He's not on the board. We did a short press release on him. He's 58 years of age. His name is Jose Arraza. We charged him with distributing child porn and attempting to purchase child porn. Well, here's the news flash. You look at this guy, Jose. You know what else he was doing online? He was purchasing soiled underwear. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? There's a market out there. You can go online, and if you're a deviant and you're into soiled underwear, and you know what all kinds of things get in soiled underwear, right? Sometimes you think you're passing gas, and you're not. You can't trust a fart when you're over 60. But this guy will buy it. He was buying these things and ingesting them. Did you hear me? He was munching on them. This guy's got a problem. I don't know if he realizes it or not, but the rest of the world does. Why do I do that? Well, you'd think it was for some levity. It's not for levity. I want you to understand what deviants these people really are. He's married. He's got 2 adult children. He was an IT specialist in communication for Lockheed Martin.
Oh!
With a master's degree from Florida International University. I just don't think they're very proud of their graduate. Lockheed Martin was equally troubled with this. They fired him upon his arrest. Mm-hmm. But this guy was doing those ugly things.
Yeah.
Understand, people who pull down child pornography, people who look at and lust after child pornography are dangerous people. And they may be living next door to you. They may be your wife or husband. Usually, I don't know that we grab women up in child porn. Women have better sense than that.
And listen, I got to say, for the most part, don't get me wrong, you have those madams out there. You have the Ghislaine Maxwells and their minions, the Sarah Kalins out there. But by far, the vast amount of these abusers are men.
But at the end of the day, this is one more roundup. Guardians of Innocence, number 5. Our promise is this. We promise always to protect our children, to try to find these deviants and get them locked up before they get to our children. We need help. These children involved didn't choose this, can't choose this. Many of them less than 1, certainly children up to 8, 10, 12 years old. We need to know where these babies are so we can rescue them.
Damn right.
If you have any idea, let us know. Are there any questions?
And here comes that question I was talking about earlier.
Most of these kids are overseas because I find it hard to believe, and maybe this was because I'm very ethnocentric, that people in this country, or very many people in this country, would sell their kids to be abused. Maybe
No.
I'm being...
At one time, the old thought was most child porn came from overseas. Not so anymore. Most of this porn is made in this country,
Yep.
in this state,
Yep.
because everyone's got these phones, and they're very good. They take high-resolution digital photographs and video, and they're getting better every day. So child porn can now be made very easily. It can be distributed very easily. And there's always deviants like this out there. And one of the shocking things, and I don't mind calling out my colleagues in law enforcement from around the state and the nation.
Damn right.
If you're not in your neighborhood, in your community, seeking these people out and actively arresting them, what are you thinking? These are the ghosts, the criminals that are dangerous to the most delicate victims that we'll ever have. Go after them with a vengeance.
I'm gonna close it right there. Grady Judd, 2020. I mean, guys, take a good look. Take a good look. There you have your predators. There you have your hero. And I get it. He's cracking some jokes, but I want to say this. This is the 3rd time I've covered him this year, I believe. At least, again, within the last year and a half, 2 years, I've been made aware of this guy. I've seen what he's done, and he's what an elected official looks like. When he talks about, the fact that a lot of this stuff is being made in the States, all right? I just want to remind people, kids are missing. And right now in Hawaii, for instance, it's not getting a lot of press, but it is being reported that there seems to be a growing number of missing children on the Big Island. And that is alarming. And it's not, doesn't just have to happen in Hawaii. We know children go missing all the time. And we know that there are high-level abusers out there that are within the infrastructures of power in this country. So, guys, again, I want to remind you, I am 100% fully demonetized on this platform. $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. There's the GoFundMe in the section below. Please make sure you're subscribed, you're thumbing these videos up, you're sharing the information with others. I am a documentary filmmaker. Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are available free here right now. And definitely go check me out on Rockfin as well. I'm loving that Rockfin is a growing platform for free speech for creators. So go check me out there and mines as well. I just want to say thank you guys. I love you. We need more Grady Judds. We need more localized law enforcement. We need more officials. They're going to call out the corruption where we really need to. Thank you, guys. See you on the flip.